I think this is a place where if Jesus came back, he would visit and go, yeah. Holy War, week 17. It's Sunday, April 26th. Today I went to Discovery Christian Community in Murray, Utah. They invited me to come and check out their service and meet the pastor and meet a bunch of the people. By the way, I think I should share where this whole thing came from because when I met the pastor, he asked me, "Why are you doing this?" And I said, "I don't know." I had the idea to do this one time when I was meditating. This was at the very end, like December 2024, the very end of the year. And the idea came in and it was pretty simple and straightforward. Just go to a different church every week for a year. I didn't think much of it. I didn't feel like it was the right time. I wasn't inspired to take action at that time, but wrote it down in my meditation journal. 10 months later, October 2025, a buddy of mine, he goes, "Dude, what if you went to a different church every week for a year?" And then he added the idea to add the scores to everything, to give each place a grade and then keep track of the rankings. But it was the same idea. And I said, "Dude, I don't know what's going on. All I know is that now I have to do this." So I don't know why I'm doing this. I just know that because of that experience, because of that, whatever you want to call it, coincidence, phenomenon, calling, I don't know what that is. But the fact that that happened tells me that it wasn't random, tells me that something is going to come out of this. And the pastor asked me, "What have you learned so far?" Which is a great question. And what I've learned is that people are people everywhere you go. And I think that I am really encouraged and hopeful for humanity because everyone I've met so far, everywhere I've gone to, are all kind of searching for the same thing. And I think everyone is just taking different paths up the same mountain. And it's just added a richness to my own personal spirituality and my own sense of community in this city in which I live. For Discovery Christian Community, here's the experience that I had. So for number one, meaning and message, that's an 8 out of 10. This place was unique because they had really positive messaging. Many of the Christian churches that I've been to so far, they tend to focus more on humanity's lack of divinity and what's missing and how the Christ makes up the difference because we are inherently sinful and like right out of the gate we're already starting in a spiritual debt. This place was a little bit different. They were much more like future. It was a much more like future forward faith, and their paradigm was much more about like we've been forgiven, we've been saved. That's awesome versus we suck and we need to be saved. It was a very like cheerful, jovial group with like really good energy, and they rejoiced in the message. For number two, for the ritual, for the experience flow of everything, a 7 there. It was pretty low key. The band, they did like 3 songs in the beginning, which seems to be the standard for everything, and then like 1 or 2 at the end. But even the messaging in the songs was like forward focused and was less about feeling guilty because of the claimed like inherent sinful nature of humans, and more about like gratitude for being saved. For number three, ethics and integrity, that's also going to be a 7. They talked about compassion. They read from Isaiah chapter 54. They emphasized compassion. They emphasized forgiveness. And the pastor called everyone out. He said that in a survey among atheists, that the number one word they used to describe Christians, at least in this survey, was hypocritical. And so he encouraged the congregation to, not judge others, to have compassion and to have forgiveness. And because they had been forgiven, that they should basically ubiquitously forgive others. Number 4, community. If I could give them an 11 here, I would, but easily a 10 out of 10. These guys invited me to come. So there were a few people who knew who I was before I showed up. But even beyond that, I probably met like a dozen people who thought I was just a guy there. I mean, I was just a guy there, but like who had no idea who I was or what I was doing. So shout out to Elissa for inviting me. Thank you again. Great group, great energy. Everyone was super friendly. Really cool place. Next, for learning and cognitive expansion, also a 7 out of 10. The pastor knew his stuff. Like I could tell that this was this guy's job. Like he was talking about geography and even Jewish law and the cultural traditions and customs from 2,000 years ago. And he really knew his stuff. And I actually learned a couple things. So 7 there. Lastly, for heart resonance and emotional impact, a 5 out of 10 there. This is the metric that measures the feeling. So feelings of like love, peace, a desire to take inspired action, things like that. Overall, that's going to give Discovery Christian Community a combined score of 44 out of 60. I think this is a place where if Jesus came back, he would visit and go, yeah. And I don't know what higher compliment I can give than that. Here's the rankings through the first 17 weeks of the Holy War adventure. If you want to invite me to your service, just leave a comment below. If you have an idea of somewhere you think I should go, let me know. Otherwise, I'll be back somewhere with something completely different. Thanks for watching.